Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another inspirational woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Katina Holliday. I am originally from none other than Aberdeen, Mississippi, but I'm based in Los Angeles, California, where y'all know homelessness is on an all-time high. In Los Angeles County alone, we have over 80,000 homeless people. So that is my story. I currently own Holliday's Helping Hands, which is an organization where we house the homeless, particularly women that have been incarcerated and given a second chance at life. Not only are they incarcerated, but they're pregnant and incarcerated, and they do petty crimes and things of that nature. But not only them, families and individuals. We also provide recuperative care services to families as well. So, being a little girl from Mississippi, my grandmother took care of a gentleman named Shine every single day of my life. And with this being said, it was instilled in me a legacy of helping and providing hope for people, because as a little girl growing up, I saw my grandmother do this every single day. He ate what we ate. We ate 3 meals a day. He ate 3 meals a day. She gave him money to buy his cigarettes. Shine had a family, but he walked up and down the streets because he had a mental illness. And I recall as a little girl myself, you guys, back then it was a dime to get a cigarette. And I would also, if I had some money, as a little girl, I would give him money to buy cigarettes because my grandma told him she didn't want him begging. Even though she knew that she would give him money for cigarettes, he would smoke those cigarettes and still beg. But she fed him and took care of him every single day of my life. And so with that being said, that was one of those moments that I remember and recall being a little girl and seeing her not only help him, but you guys, my grandmother, in the South, they keep their money in their bosom. I like telling this. And she would pull it out. She helped people pay their rent, their car notes, whatever, their light bill, whatever people needed. My grandmother always had money and she always helped people. And not only that, my grandmother was a praying woman. And so with that being said, we have erupted Holliday's Helping Hands. And with Holliday's Helping Hands, my gift to help people and provide purpose and to help those that others would not help has been an amazing journey for me. And also me being a nurse. So let me tell you about me. I forget about me. I forget. Anyway, me being a nurse, I'm a nurse practitioner by trade, been a nurse for over 20 years, and I have ventured off into helping the homeless. So now I'm a total entrepreneur. I only don't do the unhoused. I have a real grocery store called Freshly's Market. I have an urgent care and primary care as well. But my true heart lies here, helping the homeless and transforming lives daily. I get to wake up every single day and transform lives. And here at Holliday's Helping Hands, we believe in giving a hand up and not a hand out. That is our motto. So we have incorporated within our organization, because we want people to be productive members of society. So we have gathered in our organization our Shine Ambassador Worksource program. Let me brag a little about what we do. Within our Shine Ambassador Worksource program, you guys, We teach our clients to do maintenance and landscaping program. We have a thrift store that we have where people donate, but our clients get to learn customer service, how to work a register, how to do screen printing. They get to learn all of those things. We also have our catering service where they get food handlers license. They learn how to cook and serve and do all of those things. And last but not least, I did tell y'all I was a nurse. So with me being a nurse, you guys, I have HHH, School of Nursing. Yes, I did. I created a School of Nursing. And right now, the only program that we offer is a Certified Nursing Assistance Program. Because I always throw this out here. I got to have somebody take care of me. So I know that they'll take care of me well because I got to take care of them when they need it the most. So we have a CNA program that they get to go to for free, entirely free. Now, this program, at the minimum cost, if they were to go out in the streets and get this, the minimum cost is $2,000. You can't find this program nowhere for $2,000. So at the minimum cost of $2,000, and we've had about 7 clients already graduate. We're on our cohort number 3. It is fairly new. And then after this program, our goal in the next couple of years is to implement a licensed vocational nurse program, which will give them a higher income than CNA. So the clients are loving it and we are loving it. And so those are some of the things that we do at Holiday's Helping Hands. And not only at Holiday's Helping Hands, we consider ourselves where we provide wraparound services. When I explain what we do, people don't understand it until they get to my facilities and see it. And when they get there, they be like, oh, it doesn't smell. Absolutely, it doesn't smell, because Dr. Holliday believes that she needs to be able to sleep there. And if she can't sleep there, her clients can't sleep there. If she can't eat there, her clients can't eat there. And my staff will tell you that. And that's what we embody here at Holiday's Helping Hands. So with that being said, at our sites, we have therapists on site to provide therapy for their mental health. Because you got to understand, you guys, if you don't have a roof over your head, it's just, you're going to be some kind of depressed. You worry. It's just human nature, right? So we have therapists on site. We have nurses on site because we're a housing for health program. So a lot of our clients have some health issues. So with that being said, our nurses are on site to help make sure they get doctor's appointments, if they need their cancer treatments, if they need to go to physical therapy, if they need to go for dialysis. Our nurses help coordinate that, help people navigate through their health concerns and challenges. That's what we do at Holiday's Helping Hands. We provide 3 nutritional meals a day. Let's just say they're diabetic. And we know a lot of times people don't want to do what they're supposed to do. But if they're diabetics, we provide those type meals for them as well. And so not only that, we drive them to and from their appointments. And we also have people on site to help them. And of course, we have a management team that leads each and every one of our sites. So here in California, we have over 550 beds and yet growing. We have 2 new contracts that we have with Department of Mental Health. So we are excited about where we're going and where we're growing and going within Holiday's Helping Hands. And so with that being said, I can get back to me. I was a teenage mom. So, of course, when I started Holiday's Helping Hands, it was no better way than to start our organization with one house in South Central LA, and it was for pregnant women and single moms. Being a single mom that myself, I had my son in college, and the struggles that we have to navigate the system, to get childcare, to get WIC, to get all these different things that we offer here. It is challenging. And being a teenage mom, trying to figure that out, trying to get help, trying to go to school. Listen, I worked 3 jobs and went to college. I was devoted and dedicated to providing a better life for my son. So I love to share that part of my story with everyone, that if you see that a little girl with a mom with a 6th grade education, a dad with a 6th grade education, if I can do it, guess what? You can do it too. So with that being said, I am the mom of a now 30-year-old son who I am very proud of, who's an entrepreneur and has graduated. And guess what? We broke that cycle. I had decreed and declared that in my life that my son would not make the same mistake that his mom made being a teenage parent. And guess what, you guys? It was broken. He did not do it. So I thank God for that. And I also am a woman of God and faith. I got to tell you, God knows the plans that he has for us is to prosper us. And if you look at where I come from a trailer house on a rock road, and to where I'm at this day, it was nothing but the glory of God, his grace that got me to this point. And so, how I became a doctor, you guys, it is definitely an honorary degree. I went to school to get my doctorate, and I could not finish payroll when I started my company. And I said to God, somebody got to give me an honorary doctorate. And not only did I get one honorary doctorate, I got two. Can I tell you the plans that God has for you is bigger than your plans? That's the God I serve.
Dr. Holliday, what an incredible story. My gosh. It sounds to me like your beginnings, your grandmother had a very, very strong influence on who you are being right now. Growing up, seeing the power of giving, seeing somebody who was selfless, taking care of somebody she didn't have to take care of. It certainly changed your worldview. Now, your journey from nursing to nonprofit leadership is incredible. What inspired you to transition? Was there an incident, a person you saw on the street? What was that inspiration for you to start this organization?
You know what? I actually worked in an organization like the organization I have. And so God had spoke to my boss at that time, was like, we're going to do business together, believe it or not. So me and my business partner at that time was like, okay. So we thought, let me tell you what we thought. We thought we was going to open a clinic. She's a social worker and I'm a nurse, so nurse practitioner. So we thought we was going to be open a clinic. That was like, we was like, okay, that's what God going to have us do. But in the process of us running this other clinic, people started calling me, and I tell you, it wasn't a business that I thought I would ever do because I own a staffing company and I did a staffing company. And so, with that being said, how it came about is I worked as a nurse practitioner for another organization. Me and my boss at the time are now business partners, came together, and people were calling me because it wasn't enough housing for recuperative cares in the area. So, with that being said, we birthed a company called Serenity Recuperative Care. And let me tell you how God worked. We got the house given to us. We didn't have to come up with a down payment. We didn't
Wow.
have to do anything. The pastor straight up gave us the house and said, "You here's the house. You guys do what you need to do." So with that being said, that's how we got started. And because of my love for people, and I've seen several people on the street and been a nurse working in the ER and things of that nature. It's just
Yeah,
been one of those things that um always was near and dear to me. And what
yeah.
really drew me to it, when I was in nurse practitioner school, I worked at a free clinic in downtown LA. And working at that free clinic, I was taking care of the homeless, and they will always call me their doctor from Mississippi. My
Oh,
doctor that I work with, she said for months they came looking for me, and it's like, "Where's my doctor at from Mississippi?" Till she realized that they was talking about me because she was like, I'm a nurse practitioner, but she was my doctor that oversee me. And you know what? I learned about the homeless that they were people with dreams. I've taken care of people that were lawyers that just lost hope. I've taken
yes.
care of people that were professors. I've taken care of people that lost their whole family. And people never know people's story or
Yeah.
how they become the way they become. And
Mm.
everybody think that it's drug related, and a lot
No,
of
it's
times it's not. Absolutely not.
not. Now, mental health is at the heart of HHH's mission. What are some of the most common mental health challenges faced by the unhoused populations that you serve?
You know what? Number one is going to be depression. Right? When you think about it, you sad. You don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
Some of them have lost contact with their families for personal
Mhm.
reasons. People lose contact. And guess
Yeah.
what? Our Holidays Helping Hands, when they come to us, they know they walking into the door and we let them know this is your home. We just work in it. Right? We love them. And we believe that love is the greatest motivator. And that's how we do. We love them back. We love them to reconnect with their families. Love is what transforms lives.
Mm, absolutely amazing. Now, how do trauma and mental health intersect with homelessness and incarceration, particularly for women and mothers?
That is a great question. So how it definitely intersects within our in our industry. When I think about a lot of the moms that do have it, like I said, depression is number one. We
Yeah.
do have our bipolar disorders, we have our schizophrenia disorders. And that's just across the organization, period. But particularly
Mhm.
with our women and how they intersect with trauma, you got to think a lot of these women have been molested, they've been raped, they have been abused by their parents that sold them out for drugs, and
Mm.
at no fault of their own, they end up like this. But I have one story where this young lady told us that all of those things happened to her. And she said she got her first job with us. And I think at the age of 13, her mama started her doing drugs and selling
Yeah.
her out to people, right? And so you got to think about that. That's like really traumatic within itself. But her
Yeah.
coming into our program, her getting the therapy she needed, us giving her a chance where she was able to go to our thrift store and work and do the screen printing. She said we gave her a purpose in life. And that was profound for us, that the little things that we take for granted on a day-to-day basis, that you know, we as humans just don't think about it. We look at the outside of the person and not
Yeah.
the inside. And
Mm.
that's the first thing we should be looking at, the heart posture. What's in the heart? What is the deep down story? And those traumas
Mhm.
are detrimental to some people. Some
Yeah.
people never come back from it. But guess what? At HHH, we get to be some legacy makers because we are out here helping people change their trajectory, changing the way they look at things, and seeing something different.
Now, you're known for prioritizing dignity and humanity in your organization. How do you create a culture of respect and empowerment in your programs?
I am from, as I said, the MI cricket letter I, cricket letter I, humpback, I. Okay. That's Mississippi, Miss Gertrude. So it is a state of hospitality and a state of respect. I
Yeah.
grew up in that environment and I trained to that. At our organization, everybody's called Mr. and Mrs. We are to be friendly but not friends, with our clients. We teach our staff that. And so we have a whole training curated about around a welcoming environment, choosing love, because at our organization, we know that it's not just a job. We're serving in purpose. So when you
Mm.
train to we serve it in purpose, it looks a little differently from going to a job every day, because we're not going to a
Yes.
job when you step foot into Holiday's Helping Hands. So that culture for me, because I grew up in it, I have to tell you, we would get a whooping if we didn't speak to the neighbors on the porch, and my grandma would call my grandmother. So for
Yes.
me, being raised that way, I just instill some of those old values and cultures into the organization, and either they're gonna get with it or they're gonna get out.
Oh, grandmother still has an influence on everything you do. That's just amazing. Now, you said that many of your clients are pregnant women facing extreme vulnerability. What's the specific support systems do you have in place for them? And especially regarding mental health and motherhood?
Awesome. That's a great question. So, in regards to mental health and what we provide on site at our facilities every single day, Monday through Friday, there's a mental health therapist on site. Not only do
Mm.
they have one on site, we have case managers also that link them to outside psychiatrists, psychologists, whomever else that they need to see as well. So, they
Yeah.
have a whole network, unlike any other, if they're out there on their own. Not only that, we have groups that come in to help as well, provide support as moms for new moms, teach them breastfeeding and all of those things. So we have a network of people that come in and do certain things within our organization to help us, because we can't do it all,
Yeah.
to get those things done for them.
That's awesome. Your work is also rooted in resilience. What does resilience look like for the people you serve and for you personally as a leader? Your personal story seems to have really built you up to be the woman that you are today.
Yes, for sure it has. I talk about being a single teenage mom and having my family to support me. Because remember, I was like, I worked 3 jobs and went to school. So how much more resilience do I need than that? But having that strong support system behind you, you can't do it alone. And so within our organization, I we teach our leadership team to teach our staff that they're not there to do it alone. We're their support system. We're their family. This is a community that we've built within HHH to let them know. We know that they're resilient because you've overcome this. You were out here living on the streets and surviving. A lot of us can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so, and teaching our staff that and teaching them, one of the stories that my pastor always tells Miss Machi is he took $100 bill and he took that $100 bill and he asked them, "What is this?" And they said it's $100 bill. So he crumbled it up. He stepped on it, he stomped it, he beat it, and he asked them again, "What is this?" They said it's $100 bill. He said, "Did it lose its value?" And they said, "No, it still spins the same." And so he said, that's the same about the clients we serve. They don't lose their value. They've been
Oh,
stepped on, beat on, talked about, been through some hard things. It still does not lose the value of who they are as a human being. So that is one of the stories that we tell throughout the organization that gets us to do what we do.
wow. That's such a powerful analogy. Very, very visual. It is so, so true. Now, funding and public policy often lag behind real world needs. What changes would you like to see in how government supports mental health and housing initiatives? And what has been the impact of the new Trump administration on your work? We've been seeing a lot of changes happening in the US.
Yes, it is. And health is, I'm a nurse practitioner. Health is wealth for sure. And with mental health, and it started years ago and it got lagged behind. We had a cut in our mental health facilities. We have a cut in providers that's going to provide mental health. So sometimes it takes our people 3-4 months to get into to see a psychiatrist, to see that
Mhm.
special needs. So us having mental health or a therapist on site actually helps as well, right? But
Right.
with the current administration, I'll stay non-political, non-partisan. Jesus. It is a lot of uncertainty going on around the United States. But listen, it's a lot of uncertainty going on. But what I would like to see, honestly, is we need more mental health facilities for
Right.
for acute care, right? To take care of them acutely.
Yes.
We could have a client acting out at our site, you guys, and we're not acute care. Just because they're in our care and they may have done drugs because we are no harm reduction type facilities, and sometimes they may get a hold to drugs and they're acting out, and we can't get them into a facility because there's no beds available, and people don't think about those things. And so us getting back to some acute care facilities would be
Mm,
for us. It's imperative that we get that. And so I know that been working on it, but being that got cut out years ago is now what we're seeing a lot of people on the street that need that mental health support and just
yeah,
unable to get it. It's a struggle.
it cannot be easy. That can't be easy. Now, HHH is a minority-led nonprofit making a big impact. What are the unique strengths and challenges that come with being a Black woman leading in this space?
That's an awesome question. Just being black.
I know, right?
So I think, for me, the honest truth when it comes to being a black owner, a black woman, um, you know, they take things differently from us, when we're passionate about things. Um,
Yes.
a lot of times we have to tread lightly, and a black person to understand when I say tread lightly, we always have to be politically correct, always, even when you're being mistreated and things get taken away from you. Um,
Mm,
I believe in building a culture and doing what I'm saying I'm going to do. I like to operate in excellence. So if you give me something, I'm going to make sure that it's done at 110%, not just 100%, right? And so
yes.
I think being Black for me, um, I have found the most difficulty in doing business is finding finance, and believe it or not. And people like to come to me and say, how do you get financing? And I'm telling them, you have to go to a bank, but it doesn't matter for me how much money you have in a bank. It has been one of those things that I've had trouble with because you need debt to grow. So in
Yeah.
order to grow, you got to have money to grow. And
Mm,
so that has been one of the hardest things for me to even like mentor or give information to others, because the way God started me, he started me with $3,000 in a multi-million dollar company. And I
wow.
borrowed 1,500 of that 3,000 to get started, to buy the furniture for the first house. So, when people ask those things, I just believe that, I'll be like, if this is your purpose, God will provide for you, you know.
Yes.
So just being a Black woman for me, in business, I just feel like I always have to tread lightly. I always have to be politically correct in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is challenging.
Hmm.
It is challenging. Now, how do you take care of your own mental health while supporting others through such intense and often heartbreaking circumstances?
I have a strong belief in God. And so for me, it leads me through everything. I run a daily prayer line Monday through Friday, have been running it since COVID. Because when COVID happened, if we remember, that
Yes.
was unprecedented, uncertain. We didn't know what was going to happen, which way it was going to go, and how it was going to go, right?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, for me, um, I go to the spa. I believe in those $20 massages. They done went up to $30 post COVID. So I get massages, I pray, I meditate, I fast. Um, and I also have a faith coach that coaches me. So I do all of those things. I love spending time with my family. And so that is what keeps me grounded, none
Yeah.
other than the Bible and God himself, because I have to give him the glory. Because if it wasn't for him, I told you I have several businesses. So that means I'm not just running HHH. I run
Wow.
about 6 more businesses. So people look at me and say, how you do it? And I'd be
Yeah.
like, it's the God I serve, because they was like, I can't keep it straight with one business. How are you keeping it straight with six? And I'm in all six of them. Okay.
Wow. Wow. That's absolutely wonderful. Now, I'm going to end our interview with two interesting questions, a bit of a time experiment. In
Okay.
the first one, I am going to teleport you into the past. And we are going to go and have a conversation with that young girl who got pregnant as a teenager, unsure of where life was taking her, knew she was keeping her baby, knew she would change her life. Just in case there's a young woman who's listening to us today, if you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those three nuggets of wisdom be?
3 nuggets for a single mom. You know what? Don't let your current circumstances predict your future, because you are the author of your life. The second one is, don't throw a pity party. Life happens, life keeps going, and it's up to you to do what you need to do to be successful. Because again, you are the author of your life. And the third one, you're not a product of your environment. You're a product of your expectations. What are you expecting in your life? Because whatever you expect, you can have. So you got to expect something to get something. And always, at the end of it all, if you put God first, all things will be added unto you. Not some things, I said all things. And those are my three nuggets. Four.
Absolutely love it. And I love the responsibility piece, that you have to take responsibility for your life. Nobody's going to do it for you.
Absolutely. You
Awesome.
have to. And I had
Yeah.
to take responsibility. Once I became a mom, listen, I remember having the lowest GPA ever. I graduated from high school as Miss Aberdeen High School. I was second in my class, and I was embarrassed and ashamed and was like, how I'm gonna make it with this kid. I could even take care of myself. It was so many
Mhm.
different thoughts. I was sad. I cried every single day I was pregnant because I did not know that it's always light at the end of the tunnel. The
Mhm.
victory is definitely ours when you serve a God like mine and a God like yours. You know, the victory, you have the victory. It may seem dim and grim, but if you think about all the things that you've been through, if you just remember that you are the author, and at the end of everything, you have the victory. And through every trial and tribulation, when I think about it, no matter what, deaths in the family, life be life in, I have the victory no matter what. And that's what I stand on.
Mm, I love it.
Yes.
My last question is futuristic. This time I'm teleporting you into the future. And we are going to go and meet the 90-year-old you. And she is sitting in her rocking chair, surrounded by her children, her grandchildren, whoever's going to be with you at the end. If we could go into the future to meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her? And I love asking this question because a lot of women don't realize that the wise woman is already in us, that she's that quiet voice that prompts you to start a nonprofit, go left, go right, who guides you. But we look outside of ourselves for solutions all the time instead of going within.
Mhm.
So, what will you say to your wise woman when you finally meet her?
The wise woman at 90 years old, in my rocking chair, rocking. Oh, I love it. I would say to myself that I've lived a life of no regrets. Whatever I thought I wanted to do or try and do, I did. And there were no failures in life. I only learned. And that the God I serve, and I go back to my God, He is an amazing one. And I'll get to sit on that rocking chair. I will be missing my best friend who has left me at the dear age of 45. Because we always talked about us living to 102 years old. And so was sit in those memories and bask in God's glory with my grandkids and know that their grandma left a legacy of helping others in need, being a woman who loves anybody and don't place judgment anywhere, and a legacy of hope, a legacy of love, and a legacy of execution. So I can sit on my rocking chair, smile, and be happy.
Oh, wow. That's an emotional moment there. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I get the sense that you are one of those women who will leave this planet having given everything the Creator put in you to give.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for gracing us with your story and your presence today. I really believe in the power of giving. My grandmother used to say that this universe is like a giant bank, and we have to keep depositing good deeds, and they come back tenfold from the most unexpected sources.
Yes, it does.
So thank you for playing such an amazing game in this lifetime and impacting so many people with your work.
I thank you for having me today, Miss Massey. It's been an honor and a privilege. And whenever I do things like this, I always ask God to make sure I'm doing and saying something that could impact and change someone's lives for the better. Absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We are a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, inspire you, energize you, but most importantly, to take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. Today, you've heard a story that illustrates the power of giving. What are you going to do to change the world? How are you going to give and make an impact in your community, in your society? Just take the first step, trust yourself. It will lead you to what you're going to do in the future. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Dr. Holliday, thanks again for this interview. Don't go away.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world.